Or you just here to be comfortable. Like you have a little bit of success in your marriage or your business or your finances or your career with your parent, then you get comfortable. And what happens is if comfortable for long enough, comfort becomes your coffin. Woo! I'm talking heavy now. Comfort becomes your coffin. And you stop evolving, you stop stretching, you stop growing because you got just a little bit and that little bit makes you comfortable and it turns into your coffin. And there you have to lie, and you have to lie in a little bit of success you have. What's up, and welcome to the Unruly Podcast. I'm Rousawn Dozier, the mindset and communication coach. Let me ask you a question. Do you love Apple? I don't even have my iPhone on me right now. Do you love Apple as much as I love Apple? Like, I'm that dude. I'll be real with you. I'm that dude. My wife is so mad. I have stood out in line overnight for phones before. You're like, yo, Rousawn, you're a loser, bro. Like, that's lame. It is. Like, I'll be real with you. There's not a lot that they release that I don't grab. Like, I'm that dude. I'm going to admit it. That's one of my shortcomings in life is that I'm an Apple head 100%. But as much as I love the company's technology, that's not really why I love the company. I love the company for something else that they do, something else that they've committed themselves to, something that the late, great Steve Jobs committed himself to. It's why I love the company. It's something that I hope that I embody. And it's not the amazing technology. No, it's not that. Charles Darwin. Huh? What? Charles Darwin. You mean the father of evolution? Like, I'm not a huge fan of my man. Like, look him up and you'll recognize pretty quickly why I might not be a huge fan. But he does have a quote that I absolutely love. It's a quote that I've used in multiple presentations on multiple stages. It's a quote that I've used in one-on-one coaching. It's a quote that I've used in group coaching. It's a quote that I'm going to use for you today. Oh, Rousawn, thank you, brother. I got you. Charles Darwin, the father of evolution. He says, it's not the strongest or the smartest creatures that survive. It's not the smartest or the strongest. Rather, it's the most adaptable that survives. It's not the smartest. It's not the smartest creatures that you know are smart, that you know to think. It's not the strongest. It's the most adaptable. AKA, it's the ones who can evolve. Those are the ones that survive and outlast everybody. So what does this have to do with Apple, Rousawn? Apple is a company that its origin story is unique. But since it's been in business, Apple is a perfect example of what a company looks like when it refuses to be comfortable and it refuses to be stagnant. Apple has committed itself to growth every single year. Are you like that? Like, are you like that? Apple could easily, several times, one time in particular it did, they fired Steve Jobs, they released the Apple Macintosh 2, and they had broken so many records and they sold so many they thought that they were good. And they fired Steve Jobs and they got comfortable there. Instead of being a company that grows, instead of being a company that continues to expand and evolve, Apple got comfortable. And because they got comfortable, it almost killed them. It almost bankrupted the company. They had to go pull Steve Jobs. Come back. Come home. Save us. Save us. Because he was a CEO. He was a visionary who was focused on what's next. How can we grow? What are people doing? What changes are happening in the world? We need to evolve or we're going to die. I'm not here to get comfortable is what he was saying. And I'm saying that to you today. Or you just here to be comfortable. Like you have a little bit of success in your marriage or your business or your finances or your career with your parent, then you get comfortable. And what happens is if comfortable for long enough, comfort becomes your coffin. Woo! I'm talking heavy now. Comfort becomes your coffin. And you stop evolving, you stop stretching, you stop growing because you got just a little bit and that little bit makes you comfortable and it turns into your coffin. And there you have to lie, and you have to lie in a little bit of success you have. And that's why I love Apple so much. They have gotten to the bag over the years, haven't they? Like, they've literally had so much success as a company. Come on, they had we can talk about, yes, they revolutionized the personal computing world. Say what you want to say about Dell, and I'm a huge fan of Michael Dell, the CEO, the founder of Dell, and how he found it out of his college dorm room. But I'm talking about at scale. What Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak did with Apple in the early days was beautiful, incredible. But what Steve Jobs continued to do, he said, man, we ain't done, man. We're going to release this. We're going to release that. And then they released the iPod. You remember what it was like when you would hop in the car and you had the CD book? That thing was like this big, right? And you flip and you're finding CDs. He said, I'm going to put all those CDs in your pocket using the iPod. And we're like, I'm never going away from how, before you know it, all of us love iPods. And right there, that revolutionized the music industry. It revolutionized how we engage and listen and entertain ourselves. It revolutionized it, and they could have stopped. They said, nah, man, like we see what the little company BlackBerry is doing. We're going to go over here and we're going to create this iPhone. What? People were like, why would I have an iPhone like that with me? I got my laptop, I got this, I got my cell phone, I got my iPod. They said, come on. You know that Apple changed the world for sure with the iPhone. And every one they bring out, just shatters the records, it changes everything. And they could have stopped, but they said, no, we're bringing out the iPad. We're evolving. I know, you're like, where did the episode go? We'll be right back to it in a second. I want to take a moment and just come at you and let you know about something that I created, something I'm very proud of. And it's a group coaching community for men. And I spend 2-3 days a week pouring in and growing this incredible community that we call the Mindset Architect Academy. My mentor said to me like this. He said, Rousawn, accountability creates responsibility, right? Accountability creates responsibility and takes you to the next level. And I knew that I had to create a space where men could come as they were and be held accountable and get the skills they needed to grow in their mindset, their life, and their business. And we've done that. Inside the Mindset Architect Academy, we meet every Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning for my inner circle at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. And this is a coaching community for literally what you would pay for a few cups of coffee a month. I give you coaching where I'm taking everything I've learned in mastermind and mentorship programs, and I'm giving it to you. And no, I'm not charging you thousands of dollars a month like I charge some of my clients. You get it for literally what would just be a few cups of coffee per month. So if you're a guy who's looking to go to the next level, you probably need accountability that breeds responsibility. Click the link for the Mindset Architect Academy and learn more. Now back to the episode. We're evolving. We're going to continue to stretch. We don't want to die here. We don't want to die on this hill of success with the iPhone or after the iPad. They said, look, we don't like how the Macs look, how the laptops look. We're changing that. And they continue evolving. And then they said, you know what, man? We recognize that streaming is huge. And they acquired Beats Music. And then they turned it into Apple Music. Why? Now they're the giant. Them and Spotify, they're the giant. They're the leaders in the streamable music space. They refuse. They refuse to be successful in one area. They evolve. They continue to grow. And I'm saying, I want to be like that in my life. I want to be like that in my business. I want to have some success, then I want to enjoy it, but I want to retool and say, how can I be better? How can I take it to another level? How can I serve more people? How can I impact the world at a higher level? How can I be more for my family? How can I be more for my wife? How can I be more for the group of men that I lead? How can I be more? I don't want to have some success. I want to continue to evolve. I want God to continue to use me. That's still Apple. To this day, they just released a savings account. Come on. They recognized that inflation was high. They said, man, now we have an opportunity in the banking space. They're giving people 5% interest on their savings account. Yo, where they do that at? They don't do that anywhere. Apple does that. They recognize that's an opportunity and we're going to evolve. So what? We've never done anything over there. So what? We haven't been in the space for 180, 200 years like JP Morgan. So what? We haven't been in the space like Wells Fargo. We are going to do this and they're having success. And then most recently, y'all seen it, the Apple Vision that they're releasing this coming fall. It's going to completely change the way we see the world. It's going to completely change the way we engage with technology. They could have stopped with the first computer. They could have stopped with the iPod. They could have stopped with the phone. They could have stopped, but they kept growing because, as Charles Darwin said, it's not the smartest. It's not the strongest that survive, but rather the most adaptable. They become the most adaptable company in the world. And I believe that we can steal their blueprint and apply it to our lives. Have you become adaptable? Have you learned how to take the little bit of success you're having and replicate it and go to the next level in multiple areas? Have you learned how to say, hey, how can I do this better? How can I be stretched more? How can I go to the next level? So let me make it tangible for you. I get excited. Let me make it tangible before we go. I want you to ask yourself how you could be better. Get someone to see your blind spots, like to see things from an angle that you can't see it, and ask them, how can I be better at XYZ? How can I do XYZ at a higher level? And don't be offended by what they say. Have a growth mindset. Take what they say and apply it to your life. The idea is not to be comfortable. Like I said, comfort creates the coffin that you will be buried in. But when you evolve, when you continue to stretch your mind and stretch how you do things, that is not only when you go to the next level, but that's how you live forever, by living and leaving a legacy. Steve Jobs has been gone for some time now, but his fingerprints is still very much all over the world that we experience today. The same can be true for your family. The same can be true for your community. The same can be true for the impact that you have here on earth. But you have to commit yourself to not being comfortable, but to continue to grow and evolve, because it's not the strongest, it's not the smartest, but rather the most adaptable. And that can be you. That's all I have for you today. I hope the message blessed you. Until next time, stay unruly and go be great.